But to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
That is a great drop, Ric Flair. I don't care what John Cooper said on Thursday. When you face the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion, whether they're injured or not, it's a measuring stick. It's a test. Yeah, Cooper said 32 teams, 31 other tests. But you know what? Stars need to test themselves tonight in Florida against the Panthers, and we get to it now with the pregame. This is the DLLS Stars Pregame Show on Saturday, November 1st. That's right. We're out of October, 1 month into the NHL season, and the Stars will play the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, going for a three-peat this year, the Florida Panthers. Alongside Craig Ludwig, I'm Owen Newkirk. We've got Ryan Vaughters as our producer. As always, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, let's talk about our new T-shirt drops. Luds is wearing the old one. We'll show you that in a minute, but this is the face-off collection. This is the newest drop here on our hockey-themed shirts. Great-looking shirts. We're under 10 officially. I know the other day we heard from GM Ben and said it was about 9 or so. We have a goal this week. He was trying to say by the end of the postgame Thursday night. We said, no. Saturday's game is part of this week. So we need all your help because not only do we want to get a free shirt, GM Ben said if we sold 25, you guys bought 25 of those shirts, not individually, but collectively, he'd get us all shirts. And then, of course, this guy will tell you in the postgame show or even the pregame show what he may or may not be thinking about.
I didn't realize that. I'm off the hook if that doesn't happen, right?
Wow, that's you set the rules, so that's totally up to you. Are you looking for a way out?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I've already taken out a loan for it, so I'm good to go.
I thought it was.
I thought you were.
If I wore that shirt, you'll buy my beer.
But I thought we had to get to the number. If we get to the number of 25.
Well, I mean, then I think that's fair. Right?
Yeah.
So you'll have to cash in some other currency, but if you want to get the beer that Luds promised you at our event on December 7th, we got to get to 25.
I think that's how it played out, right?
It's only fair.
Don't be you just produce over there. You don't have to be encountered.
Well, Luds is wearing one of the great DLS shirts. That's from the Dallas collection. Very sharp looking one. I've got one of the Mike Modano 16-bit ones. T.O.'s wearing his green Moose shirt. Bobby wore the Moose shirt the other day when he filled in for you that last segment. So
I pulled out the Jamie Benn one, and when I put it on, apparently somehow some bleach got splashed all over it. And I got these little brown dots all over the place. I would think they'd
how to make it
white.
look?
Well, Kim has an idea that I'm going to take a marker to them and just kind of color them all. Maybe that works. I don't know.
Interesting. You couldn't somehow get the visor to disappear?
But they're, they're all from here down, but you could probably.
Wow. That's buy a couple more of those new face-off collection shirts. Luds needs to replace the Jamie Benn Captain one.
Was it bleach or did it smell like
what?
Never mind.
Oh, he's making an inappropriate joke, I believe.
I'm ignoring him.
Okay. Ryan, I'm going to send you a photo in Slack. If you can pull it up a little bit later, let me know because I literally just saw it and really cool little thing by the Stars, which we'll talk about. But let's get into some of the details of this game. I think we start with the lineup news. There is a little bit of news for today. So back to 12-6.
Back to 12-6? Or is it back?
It's back.
Back to 12-6.
Back to 12-6. Thank you. I appreciate the correction because he's right. Oskar Bäck is back in the line. Look, Bäck back.
Yeah, there you go.
That's tough to say, but it is. And so, Luds, this is a big deal because the Stars have had to go with 11-7 the last 2 games, and that's just thrown things off a little bit. Now, look, they're still missing Rope Hintz, Matt Duchene, Jamie Benn up front.
That throws things off a little bit.
That throws things off, I think, more than 11-7. But having 4 full forward groups having 6 defensemen instead of 7 still matters. That is still a thing.
Rhythm. You have better rhythm. Yeah, and I think right now, even with Gully, even as much as he kind of, tap dances around putting certain players and trying to mix and match and find things, you like to have that steadiness,
Mm-hmm.
I think the players like it too. I mean, because they're, we can kind of roll. And sometimes when you're playing, short as a forward, you're always kind of, or at least some of them are kind of looking around guessing, who am I going to be with next? And the other thing is it's taxing on, the Rentons and, Robos and those guys that are playing extra minutes because of that, even though they like it, but it's a little taxing.
They do like it, but it will add up over the course of a week or a season, and then you wonder about that. Speaking of which, Casey DeSmith will get the starting goal tonight. The Stars have played 9 games. Jake Ottinger started 11 of them. Now, their schedule so far, for the most part, has allowed for this. But Gully keeps saying this, and we've talked about this with many coaches. They're adamant that in today's NHL, that if you get into these 60 to 65 games played during the regular season, it can be a negative effect energy-wise for goalies when they hit the playoffs. I don't know how Patrick Waugh did it. I don't know how Martin Brodeur did it. Maybe better defense in front of them so they weren't facing 30-plus shots.
Yeah.
Belfour. Those guys played. I mean, I remember Scott Clemenson was the backup for a long time for Martin Brodeur. He would play 10 games a year because Marty played 72.
Yeah.
And then played playoffs and won cups and it was okay.
Yeah, again, that's what those guys will say. Well, we won 2-3 Stanley Cups. I mean, what's wrong with playing a lot? I think it's a different breed, and I think we argue all the time now, and we go back to the day, and you go, well, now the travel is so much better than it was in the past. So it's
no
not
commercial flights.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's luxury everywhere you go when you get into places when you're supposed to get in, and the meals on the planes, and everything is better, and so you would think that they would be able to almost play more games. But, and what you hear from goalie coaches and goalies that I know, it's the way that they play the game now. They're more down on their knees, and they're using the V8 or VH or whatever they're all called. And so it's a little bit more wear and tear on them. And I think that's what they're trying to preserve for these guys when they get to that proper time of the season. They're as healthy as they can be.
It's a good point, because if you're a stand-up goalie and somebody takes a shot and your defenseman blocks it, you're still standing.
Yeah.
If you're a butterfly goalie, which they all are now, every time you see a shot, you drop down to the butterfly, even if you don't make the save. In fact, I talked to Jake about this a couple weeks ago, and he said, obviously you love it when defensemen block shots, but if you make the effort to go post to post to make a save and they don't get it on net, he goes, you almost wish you do, because you did all the work to make the save.
Yeah.
You'd like to get credit for a save.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is I think you have to take into account how good the players are now, and they're able to go more east-west with the passing. We talk about defensively always playing in the right spot, and defensemen making sure that once you get to a certain area, the goaltender can come out and challenge. But they have the capability now, these young players, to make passes and the saucer passes, and they're just unbelievably skilled. And so I think there's probably more high danger chances. And from the point of going from east to west, and goaltenders are just on the move that much more now.
Well, let's take a look at the Stars lineup today, as we expect to see. So Oskar Bäck, as you can see in the fourth line, we'll see for sure when they start the game, but the expectation is that he'll slot right in with Fox and Bastian. Obviously, the top six has been pretty consistent with the injury to Hintz and, of course, Duchesne. Adam Ernie gets his first NHL goal the other night. First Dallas Stars goal, first NHL goal in a couple of years, and playing with Ritzkovian and Blackwell. And Ernie continues to be a real bright spot in that bottom six.
He's a horse, and I think he just comes to work every night, and he understands the reason he was on a PTO when he came here and then earned himself a contract is because he played the right way. I mean, he is a north-south kind of guy, and he's a big body. He finishes every night. It seems like he's got minimum 6 checks, so it's nice to see from the forward group. You got Bischel in the back end that generally has 6 or 7 at minimum. So it's nice to have that kind of a guy. And I think and the other things that he does, he goes to the front of the net. I mean, he's a big body, and he makes good plays in tight at times. So I think he's probably not going to slide up to where take Sam Steele place, even though, that's where Sam Steele's been playing this year. But he's probably not going to be in your top 6, but he's found a perfect spot here.
Ryan, I'd like to go to video 5, the clip with Glenn Gulletson on the physicality, because let's just mention that the guys in the bottom 6 and Liam Bischel getting their hit. Well, Gully was asked about where the improvement of physicality is at 11 games into the season, and here's his answer.
you know, we're trying, especially with our bottom guys. And I think if you look at our bottom six, they've done well. You know, they're chipping in with goals, and they've been physical and drove some play. So we're getting everything we need there. You know, from our bottom guys, they're doing their job, and we are trying to be more physical because that's what it's going to come down to. The physicality actually amps up. So we've got to get used to that too. So. We talked at the start of the year. That's something that was mentioned in the room, not only by myself but the players, and they're taking it into their own hands.
So I don't know if I'm reading between the lines on this, but he complimented the bottom six guys for the physicality, but he also didn't mention the top six guys. Do you feel that across the board there's enough physicality improvement so far, knowing you still have 70 games to go? 71.
Yeah, as much as you can. I mean, you know, in the beginning, well, in the summer when Gully was signed, he had kind of put it on everybody. We want 1% out of everybody. That adds up to the next 20%. But the other thing that you have to think about there, and yeah, you'd like your offensive guys to be a little bit more physical, but Nico Rantan's got the puck quite a bit. And hence, when he's healthy, he's got the puck quite a bit.
And Rantanen will hit a guy even when he has the puck. And somebody
well, yeah,
hits
and
him.
he just does, or they run into him and go down. But yeah, so I mean, you always want, as guys down in the lineup, you always want to see your superstars doing the things that you have to do to stay in the lineup. But you also realize that they're generally the part of the reason that you win hockey games, because they're the ones that are leading the charge offensively. And when they have the puck all the time, typically you don't get a ton of hits.
Take a quick look at the Stars' defense and goaltending. As we mentioned, Casey DeSmith will get the start in goal tonight. It'll be his third appearance so far of the year. Didn't have a great game against Vancouver. They lost at home. Much, much better in his second outing on the road in Nashville, and a big reason why they won that game, and they're hoping for that same thing again today.
Well, I mean, you think if you look at game one, we thought between the preseason and when he played that game was a couple of weeks. You know, and what do they talk about all the time? They want to keep guys in the – yeah, exactly. Get them in a rhythm and, you know, get them in there. Don't let them sit and become stale. And I think we've seen what happens when Casey gets a nice, proper break in between games.
As far as the other injuries, Rope Hintz did not make the trip, so we won't have any updates until at least Monday at practice the next time they get ready to play Edmonton on Tuesday. That'll be a big game for Glenn Gullison, of course, and the Stars at home. And then Matt Duchene did go on the trip, just like Oskar Bäck, but Duchene is still day-to-day. It's frustrating for people because they want to know when he's coming back. And Gully basically said that he's not in a protocol, but we literally have to see how he's feeling. He gets put through a skate. How does he respond? And we've been through this. Like when guys go through hits up high like that and they have to get their way back through, it's now about how each individual feels. They can't just follow, you know, okay, 5 days and you'll be good to go, because each one of these injuries is unique.
Yeah, it's funny they say he's not in protocol.
Yeah.
But
there seems like he was
we know what the injury was.
Yeah.
And protocol, and what I think they mean by that is when you start to exercise, and if you get a headache in a certain period of time, you take 2 or 3 days off. That's protocol.
Yep.
Here it seems like he's on his own. But the whole visor thing is another thing for me. I mean, you're going from a darker visor to a lighter one, and I'm sure Matt would prefer to play with the clear ones, because I don't.
Which is what he normally does.
And I don't remember if he's ever played with a dark one. There's been a few players that have.
Remember that big giant one, the longer one after he got the puck up, and he's wearing that one that was down almost to his chin.
Yeah,
but
again,
keep that very long.
But again, I think the reason is, and I know again, just with a couple of our guys, is for the tint because of the lights and stuff. So I don't know what protocol means or doesn't, but I think there's just the lingering effects that he has. Maybe hopefully they're getting smaller and smaller to where he's going to feel comfortable that he can make it into a game, most importantly. But then what's even more important than that is that he can play the next game, and then the next game, and then the next.
Up next, we're going to talk about the goalie matchup. We're going to look at the Florida lineups. We're going to hear from Miro Heiskanen and Thomas Harley. We have a whole bunch to get to. All of that coming up here on the DLS Stars Pregame Show.
I think we're going to revisit the shirts, aren't we? Let's take a look at the new DLLS collection, the green one and the black one. It's the Dallas hockey one, the green one, and also the black one up there on top of the 3 stars, which we've decided that is a star or it's an A. It's either one of them. But again, let's clarify some of this stuff. As long as I got an opportunity to talk here, I thought the deal was, and I think Owen's on my side, Ryan's not on my side, which doesn't matter what Ryan feels.
Well, I'm on your side.
My opinion. No, you still want me to buy the beers. I'm going to buy you beers if you're there. You're fine. You're good. But if they
There
do
you
get,
go, Ryan.
all we know is that Ben said that if 25 of these total shirts were bought prior to a date, which now apparently we're expanding the date, right?
No. He was trying to shorten it, and I'm fighting to keep it.
Okay, to what it originally was.
We
This
said
is the day.
He was basically saying if we had it through this week. And
Okay.
then he tried to say on Thursday night, after Thursday's post-game show.
That it was over.
Yeah, and I said, no. We still have a game against the
See, I
Panthers.
didn't hear you say no.
Well, it was in
I would
Slack.
have agreed with him. I would have heard that.
Once
But
again,
regardless, if that happens, we got a little event
he's
coming
just
up.
trying to get out of the beer.
I'm not going to get it. Beer, I like beer. So what we're going to do is if you wear one of these two shirts to the Hooters part of this event, which starts at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I
I
believe.
think we're probably going to do the pregame show around 2,
And then
go to Hooters.
Then we're
and
going to
games
the
at 5 o'clock.
game and all the
Yep.
whole 9 yards thing. But there will be some beer for the folks that wear those shirts to that event. Now, the big question came into play. Is that do they have to be part of the ones that are going to the game, or is it just anybody that buys it? I'm saying anybody.
Oh, generous.
You've heard
Money
it here.
bags, Luds, just making it rain. I love it. Let's talk about the Supporters Club because I can see
There'd be 100 people there.
in just buying beer for everybody here. It would be great. Buy your shirts, but you have to wear one of those face-off collector shirts. Supporters Club, we added a new emoji, I believe is a tank. They also had another one that looks like the number 5.
I heard that last show. What is the tank? What is the?
It's literally a military tank. Can you see that? little
That's
thing?
got to be in reference to somebody.
That's a
correct?
great question. So, do you use it as Miko because he's a moose? He's like a tank.
I thought, and Robo does a lot of things with the military, and I just wondered if that had anything. I was just curious.
I'm not sure. I probably have to get some clarity.
Has anybody got a nickname Tank? I don't think so.
It was Logan Stankoven, who's not on the
that'd be
team anymore.
Stank.
No, the players called him Tank,
Oh, okay.
which I kind of liked because he's sort of built like a
I
tank.
thought what Cowboys.
Maybe the Cowboys to tank because they're not any good, so maybe get a higher draft pick or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
So now we're putting emojis on our show for the Cowboys?
Well, it's all of them. So,
Well, I got
anyway,
a couple. Can we get a Packers logo then up here?
You can
What?
ask.
I just did.
I don't know if you'll get it, but you can ask. Join the Supporters Club. Check out our Halloween special video that's content only for those who signed up. And, of course, you can see, the number 5, that's Paige Buckets. Thank you, T.O. Very good call. That's Lud's favorite WNBA players, Paige Buckets. All right. Speaking of having a little fun, guess what? Oh, yeah, that's something. I think he wears the mullet better than I do, especially the blonde one. But guess what? It is currently time for the PNC Bank Mullet Report. So here's our pick for our favorite hockey hair from around the NHL. And Luds, today we decided to go with your
Look at Hatch.
teammate, Darian Hatcher. Look at that flow.
Yeah. He still has the head of hair. He still does. And he's still just as big. Actually, he's bigger, but yeah, it's funny. Hatch has come back and played in a couple of our alumni events, and we've done a couple of things for cancer and things like that. Hatch comes back, and so he doesn't move quite as quick as he used to, but regardless, it's good to see. I'm glad you have him on there.
Yeah, well, we had a couple. We had you.
Can't.
We had Yager. We had to have another Dallas Star.
Yeah, and I can't really. There's got to be somebody else. I can't remember. It didn't seem like it was that big of a thing then.
Well, we have some others in the hopper ready to go. So
Yeah,
just
but you're going back probably in the 80s, right?
There's
that's in the
fewer
90s
now than then.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
but there are still players with. I mean, honestly, the kids are doing it now. My nephew.
Oh no, I know. We should get some of the guys from Minnesota.
Oh, we should do the Minnesota
You should
high
do
school
that.
hockey here
Yeah,
because
you
it is
should get them dudes.
wonderfully gross.
Yeah,
is the way
it
I would
is.
call
It
it.
is great.
Well, you can pick up your free Dallas Stars hockey hair hat. Looks just like this. Look at that.
See, this is all coming together because I've seen these little banners hanging from the streetlights for weeks now, and I never knew what the hell was
And
going
now we
on.
know what it is.
Now I finally figured it out.
Well, you can pick up your free Dallas Stars hockey hair hat pregame at PNC Plaza, compliments of PNC Bank, on November 4th and 6th at PNC's pop-up Main Street branch. And, of course, come hang out with us. We'll be there on the 6th as part of this event. We'll be out there on PNC Plaza, right near the Dirk statue and the Madonna, this shirt right here. No purchase is necessary, 1 per person while supplies last. Copyright 2025, the PNC Financial Services Group Incorporated, PNC Bank, an official partner of the Dallas Stars. Okay, shall I leave it on for the rest of the pregame show?
Yeah, you might as well.
Might as well. All right. So, Luds, you have a couple clips that you asked for, and I have an extra bonus one for you from Miro. So, but the first one was Miro speaking on, and we'll play it, and then I want your take on why, on the keys to creating more offense.
It feels like a probably we're thinking a little too much. Play more with your instincts and work a little harder, compete a little harder, and I think that's the key how we can get more offensive game for us. So it's I think those are the keys.
Doesn't it always seem like when any athlete doesn't know the answer to what it should be, you work harder and compete harder, and that's what it's going to be. I agree, but when you look, see, and I started thinking about this whole thing because I looked at Stars 5-on-5 goals, 4 goals against stuff. The Dallas Stars, we're not used to being in this neighborhood. Dallas Stars are 30th in the league in 5-on-5 goals scored and 29th in goals against.
That's pretty low.
That's low. I mean, you only got 2 more spots to go. So it got me thinking, and so then I started taking a look at the lineup, and I grabbed the lineup and I look at it, the same one that we have tonight, and I'm starting to look at the players and where they are. Look at how many players are actually elevated. Sam Steele, again. Sam Steele was a really good third-line guy. Sam Steele has gone from playing an average of 14 minutes a night to 17 and a half. Woo. Okay? Even Tyler Seguin. Seguin's normally down in that number 2 spot over there on the right-hand side. But so his minutes are up about a minute and a half. I know it doesn't seem like. Adam Ernie, well, he's never played here before.
Nope.
So we got a 0 there. Ritzkovian hasn't played any games.
Guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Radek Faksa. Faksa's been up and down the lineup. Okay. His minutes are actually up. And Bastian's minutes, surprisingly, are down. But regardless, as last year he only played in like 50-some games. So not being a regular guy. And then you got Petrovic, whose minutes are down a little bit, which I kind of thought I was surprised by that one. But when you look at the guys that are elevated in the lineup, you have to understand that the same bullets that were in the gun aren't there right now. And then you have to look at the gun, and it sounds not good, the guys that are playing with those guys, because they're used to playing with guys that are typically have maybe the same kind of skill set. So to me, that has a lot to do with it's the injuries. It goes back to the injuries, and guys are being elevated. Injuries, or we were still missing, coming in here at the start of the year, that top 6, that second line spot on the left-hand side was missing, and it's still missing. Now there's a couple other spots missing. So that's where they are. So it's not really about harder work. It's just the hand that you're dealt right now.
Well, we're going to hear from Thomas Harley in a minute, who also had some sort of funny answers to some of the questions that Mike Heika asked him, because he was sort of dismissing of, we're going to try harder, we'll do this. But I actually want to ask Thomas, based on that, I said, hey, you always get these questions in the interviews, and you keep saying it's not that complicated. Well, we're going to hear from that in a minute. But I had another quote from Miro Luds where he says, basically, Stars are far from being at their best right now.
It's always a good thing that we can, get some points and everything, but I think it's we're far away from our best, and I think we can be a lot better. I think in every aspect of our game, we're defending a lot right now, and Shaggy has to make a lot of big saves, so try to help him out a little more and play more offensive zone, and I think that's the important part.
Everything I just got done saying is about that. If you're defending more and you don't have the parts to keep it in there for the amount of time that you generally keep it in the offensive zone, you're naturally going to be back in your end, and then you got to find a way to get it back out of your zone, kind of keep the puck instead of having to dump it from one end to the other. So those kind of key pieces, like I said, are not right there.
Now, the Stars did not play a particularly good game against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
But Tampa played really well.
Jake Ottinger was very good, and they defended okay. But you're right, Tampa did play well.
Jake earned that team a point.
Yeah, he maybe stole him a point. But they also had an opportunity with a tie hockey game and a 5-on-3 to win the game. Had one of their red hot power plays scored in 4 straight games, but they were unsuccessful in the 5-on-3. Well, Mike, when he was doing the interviews yesterday after their practice in Florida, asked Thomas Harley about the struggle of the 5-on-3.
It's still hockey.
That's true.
You just got to make reads, and everyone out there is a very smart, skilled player, and you got to trust your instincts and make reads. And it's not that complicated. Sometimes you make it look complicated, but it's not.
Every 5-on-3 and every 5-on-4, 5-on-3s especially, generally have a set play. Here's what we're looking for. We're looking, and sometimes you wait and you look for that. But when you start a power play and you only have 40 seconds or so on that 5-on-3, I think what Thomas is trying to say is we know what we can do. Like, you know what he wants to do? He wants to pull the trigger. Like, he wants to pull the trigger.
Step one, he wants to be on the ice for the 5-on-3.
Exactly. But yeah. but that's a guy that pulls the trigger.
Yep.
And so and my philosophy with our guys is like, we don't want to wait to turn it back into a 5-on-4. We have 2 extra guys. So let's get pucks to the net. Let's get bodies there so that when there is a rebound, we recover that. And a lot of times the goalie's going to make the first save. It's just how good they are. But it's the second and third opportunity where you actually cash in a lot of times.
Let's take a look at the Florida Panthers lineup for today because they get Brad Marchand back after he was not available on Tuesday. And the gap in the schedule, they had 3 days without a game, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it actually worked out pretty well for the Panthers to allow Marchand to go back home to Halifax, Nova Scotia. The reason why he wasn't in the lineup in their Tuesday home overtime loss to the Anaheim Ducks was because one of his longtime friends from back in Canada lost his daughter after a long battle with cancer. His friend, his name is JP McCallum. He's the head coach of they're called the March and Mill Company Hunters of the Nova Scotia U18 Hockey League. JP McCallum is the head coach. He lost his 10-year-old daughter. And Brad has an outdoor apparel company called March and Mill Co., and they sponsor the team. Well, Marchand went and back home and coached his U18 team for his friend JP, missed an NHL game, but I mean, really, 2 front sluts. Really cool of Marchand to do that. Really cool of the Panthers to allow him to do that.
Good timing. Get a little break in here. Get a few days off. I've said that when you've got older players, if you can find pockets in the schedule, ideally more in the middle after maybe the 40-game mark. But this was the right thing, and he obviously wanted to do it. I think tonight he's going to step on the ice and the ovation for him, and I think that's gonna be another hurdle that Dallas is going to have to step over because they already love Marchand the way he is, and to be able to have all the publicity around this thing and doing that kind of taking the steps to do that, I think is great on his side. But I think that's going to be a little boost for the Panthers tonight.
Ryan, pop up that forward group again for the Panthers because, look, this is the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. They had a great start. They won their first 3 games of the year, but then they've gone on a bit of a slide. 2-5-1 in their last 8 games, just 5 points, a 3.13 point percentage. And Luds, they are missing some substantial players from their lineup. Obviously, their captain, Alexander Barkov, had picked up that awful knee injury in preseason in training camp. And then Matthew Tkachuk still out for a while. They also lost Dmitry Kulikov for months. Thomas Nosek is out. Jonah Gadjevich is out now. This is just like the Stars, a team that is missing a chunk of their team.
Yeah, but I think what they have is what Dallas is trying to get to from a foundation of playing the game in their own zone and in all 3 zones. They have that foundation, so they believe that they can lean on that, and then they won't be able to create as many offensive chances, obviously, because of the people that are out of the lineup. But I think they feel better how playing in their own zone, especially, and that's what we keep on hearing from Dallas. Well, we're kind of standing around and we're thinking about what we're defending and where we're supposed to be and all this other kind of stuff. These guys have that advantage because they've been doing it for a couple.
And that's you talk about moving up in the lineup. The Lundell, Lewis, Storinen, and Marchand line was the phenomenal 3rd line for the Panthers in the playoff run last year. Now they've been basically bumped to the 2nd line because Sam Bennett, who was higher up with Barkov and Tkachuk, not in that necessarily that order. Now they just don't have the same pieces. Let's take a look at their defense. And they have a pretty good – now they're missing Kulikov, and they lost out on, of course, Nate Schmidt was part of that group last year. He's not there either. But they brought in a veteran in Jeff Petrie. I don't think that his best days are in front of him, but still a smart player, and obviously a first full season with Seth Jones.
Yeah, and Petrie, you know what? When I watched Petrie play last year, he just seemed disinterested. I don't think he was happy with what was going on. But again, their top 4 play the majority of the minutes. The Brangos only played 4 NHL games. So, you know, there's if you're able to get a matchup, that's what you would like. But again, Dallas doesn't have last change tonight, but they still have a great top 4.
Interesting with Dominic Sabrango because he's a 2020 third-round pick, first of overall pick of that round by Detroit. He was traded to Ottawa in 2023 as part of the deal that allowed the Red Wings to acquire Alex DeBrincat. And then this year, October 15th, 2 weeks ago, he was claimed off waivers by the Panthers from the Senators. He's in his 6th pro season. He's mostly been in the AHL. Although I did notice, Luds, he played 4 games 2 years ago for the Allen Americans in the ECHL. So
yeah,
a cup of coffee locally.
Yeah, locally.
But he'll play instead of Uvis Balinskis today.
Yeah, and I think they want to see what they've got here. You know, again, it's a great opportunity for him, obviously, to be able to step in this lineup, have some protection around you with the system and all that other kind of stuff. So it'd be nice to see him get an opportunity.
And lastly, let's take a look at the goaltending matchup. We mentioned Casey DeSmith for Dallas, Sergei Bobrovsky for the Stars. And Luds, obviously, Bobrovsky's a heck of a goalie. Okay number so far. I think more reflective of the team in front of him so far this year. But his career against Dallas, in 24 games, Bobrovsky combined between Columbus and Florida, 19-2-2 with a .922 save percentage and 1 shutout. He has been really, really good against them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all the players read those stats. They got the stats back in front of them. You know,
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they know what they're going at.
All right, last thing I have to say is, do you think we're going to see a better effort from the Stars today than we saw? I mean, effort's not the right word.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to see a better game? Because they're trying hard. They didn't play well against Tampa. You're going to see a better game from the Stars today.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping is that this little bit of talk, like we get to create more chance and things, it doesn't hurt your defensive game because, again, you're playing against a veteran team that obviously has had some success here in the last couple of years, so you don't need to create any cracks for these guys. So I think they just got to keep on with the process, and again, as much as you can play in the offensive zone, but you have to make sure pucks get into the offensive zone. This is a very structured team they're playing against. They'll turn pucks over through the neutral, and that's what's going to hurt.
Really cool thing I noticed as we were going live with our pregame show. Didn't see it before. Check this out. Now, you may not know this, but see Jake Ottinger walking in, and there's Sam Steele behind him. They're all wearing a T-shirt. Well, we just did this with Tyler Sagan's shirts for his 1000th game in Tampa. But if you look closely, it says congrats on 2000, and that is Dallas Stars head athletic trainer Dave Zeiss on that shirt. So apparently, and we've known Zeisser's been around longer than I've been in Dallas, and I've been here, and this is my 12th season covering the hockey game work.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy, very talented at what he does, always really generous with asking medical questions and stuff, but
To a
really,
point.
really cool to a point.
Yep.
Really cool milestone, though, for Zeisser.
Yeah, and what's really nice is that they acknowledge it. You
Yep.
know, and the players know about it. Obviously, the staff knows about it. So it's classy when they recognize kind of.
All right. Time to see if this, last time they played, it was in Finland, and it didn't go well. They lost 2 games. They got kind of humbled. Can they measure up now? Well, they've got some injuries. Florida's got some injuries.
You know what? It was a year ago today
Mhm.
that Maverick Bork scored his first NHL goal in Finland. Today.
So is Maverick Bork on the score sheet today?
I just brought it up. That's
Okay.
just all I'm saying.
Just putting it out there. Well, maybe we'll have a reason to throw the mullet hat. Thanks to PNC Bank. Get yours November 4th and 6th. We will see you in the postgame show after Stars and Panthers. Thanks for watching.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.